Joining me now to discuss is legendary Washington quarterback, former NFL MVP, and Super Bowl 17 champion, Joe Theismann. Joe, great to have you here with us today, and thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thanks, Brad. It's great to join you. It's funny you mentioned Tom Brady. It seems like doesn't matter which team you talk about, it's always Tom Brady's name coming up.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about Tom a little bit more here. Going for yet another Super Bowl ring this season here, and he has certainly found the fountain of youth somewhere. I hope he can point us all in that direction. What are you expecting from tonight's game?
I expect Tampa's defense to be dominant. I'm curious to see how Dak's going to play, having not really performed at all in the preseason and recovering from a couple of different injuries. I'm curious to see if Zeke Elliott can regain some of that form he did as a rookie. But I'm convinced Tom is not from this earth, Brad. I believe that he's come here from somewhere where you don't age. You just continue to move along at the same rate and pace you did for a long time. He's just phenomenal. I mean, he takes care of himself. He's been blessed as far as injuries go. And the thing that makes him so special, and I believe he's the greatest player ever and the greatest quarterback ever, is he has won with so many different people around him that he has been the constant. I know they had great defenses in New England, and certainly Tampa's defense was terrific last year, but Tom seems to be that one key element that makes such a world of difference in whether a team's going to be successful and make a run at a championship or not.
Very well said. The Washington football team takes on the LA Chargers this Sunday. I got to get your take on Washington's offense this fall. Practically, the rookies are getting a lot of the attention here coming into the start of the season.
Yeah, De'Ami Brown, for example, as a wide receiver. Antonio Gibson, his second year. Well, we forget Washington's a very young football team. I think they're in the top 5 or 6 in the league when it comes to being that young. A lot of guys last year didn't have the benefit, the young players like Antonio Gibson I'm talking about, of going through a training camp or OTAs or mini camps. They just had to go play football right away. So now they've had a chance to get a full season of training under their belt as far as the offseason goes. I expect a lot of good things from Washington's football team. Of course, Ryan Fitzpatrick, we're his 9th team. And, of course, September 9th, 1949 was a birthday, mine. So the number 9 seems to be a good number. And I really think that this football team, there are expectations, but I think it will get better as the year goes on. Our offense will become more and more fluid. They'll have the ability to be able to make plays. And Fitz, I think, is going to have a terrific year because, remember, down in Miami last year, he was playing well. They just decided to change to Tua. And so we got a guy who's rested and knows the system now, and I think will do a terrific job leading this football team.
Now, Washington football team's co-CEO, Tanya Snyder, told ESPN this week the team's name is down to about 8 possibilities. We got to know, if it was up to you, which of the following nicknames would you choose? The new team name. Is it the Armada? Is it the Presidents, the Brigade, Red Hawks, Commanders, Red Wolves, Defenders, or, of course, the name that's kind of grown on me a little bit, the Washington football team?
Brad, I'll tell you, I think the world of you. And I'm going to being that we live in a political environment, I want to be politically correct. Whatever name that the management decides is going to be fine with me. It's a great opportunity for these young players to really create their own legacy. We were the Washington Redskins. Over the last couple of years, we were the Washington football team. Going forward, there will be a new name, and I'd like to see him announce it before the end of the year, to be honest with you. I'd like to sort of put this conversation behind everyone, but I have no preference as to what one would be or where they want to go with it. Like I say, that decision is above my pay grade. And I'm just going to basically wait and see like everybody else and root for whomever winds up out there on the football field under whatever uniform and logo they have.
Well, I agree with you. I hope we do get a firm decision soon. And quite frankly, as an Eagles fan, they can choose whatever name they want as long as it says Eagles defeat the whatever insert name here. That is fine with me. Some people may be familiar with this story, but for our audience, we have to know, why back in your senior year at Notre Dame of the pronunciation of your last name changed from Theismann to Theismann?
Actually, I'll try and make it a very short description. Roger Baldessari was the public relations director there at that time. Roger, after my junior year, which was a very good year, someone had mentioned to Roger, oh, is that Theismann like in Heisman? Well, my name was pronounced Theismann. So Roger called me in the office. He said, how do you pronounce your last name? I said, it's Theismann. He said, no, Joe, your last name is pronounced Theismann. I said, no, it's not. It's Theismann. He said, no, Joe, it's Theismann. I said, give me the phone. I called my dad back home in Jersey. I said to my father, Dad, I have a question for you. How do you pronounce our last name? And there's like dead silence on the phone. He said, son, are you all right? I said, yeah, I'll explain later. Just tell me, how do we pronounce our last name? He said, Theismann. And so I turned to Roger. I said, my dad says my last name is Theismann. I know that's what it is. He said, Joe, there's a trophy out there called the Heisman Trophy. It goes to the best college football player in the country. We think you have a chance to win that trophy, but we're not just going to count on your athletic ability, nor the reputation of the University of Notre Dame. But we think by just simply changing the pronunciation of your last name from Theismann to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman, we can guarantee you that trophy. Oddly enough, it didn't work. I finished second, but the name stayed. So it's been my brand for over 50 years. But that's how the name came. People come up to me all the time, Brad, and say, "I can't believe you changed your name." I didn't.
Yeah.
Roger did.
It sounds like it was a marketing campaign.
It was, absolutely. It was the first time that the Heisman had been marketed. I think you remember, like Joey Harrington, they put like a 13-story banner up, I think, out in Washington or Oregon somewhere where he was at school. And, so it was really the first marketing campaign to try and get somebody a trophy. Jim Plunkett won it that year, but, Archie Manning was part of that class, Dennis Dummett, Chuck Hickson, Rex Kern. It was quite a quarterback class in 1971.
Joe, while we have you here, I just lastly have to ask, you're collaborating with the Washington football team's official health and wellness partner, MedLiminal. So tell us more about that and how you got involved.
I got involved with MedLiminal 4 years ago, and what I found so interesting is I want to be able to do things and be a part of something that I believe can help people. I raise as much money as I can for St. Jude's Children's Research Center. But when it comes to MedLiminal, what they do is we want businesses to be able to look at their medical bills. Obviously, you want to look at ways to save money. You want to be able to cut costs. So what we do from the MedLiminal standpoint is we have what's called an HCAT system, as well as nurses and experts when it comes to healthcare. They examine the bills. Bills are inaccurate. I defy anybody to look at a medical bill and tell you exactly what's in it. Well, what we do is we have the ability to do that. That's our sweet spot. So what we want to do for businesses is examine their bills, make sure that the bills are accurate, and be able to give the opportunity to the business owners so that they can examine what they're being charged for. Call it a big brother. We want to sort of help people out in any way we can. The website is medliminal.com. It's spelled medliminal.com. And like I said, it's who understands a medical bill? Who understands the bills we look at?
It's so true.
And I think it's a great opportunity for people to be able to look at their bills and possibly save money.
Absolutely. Extremely timely conversation, both on that front and on the football front as well. Joe Theismann, or Theismann, legendary Super Bowl 17 champion and former NFL MVP. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. We appreciate it.